hello everyone. My name is Vani Sharma, and I'm your 2019-2020 International United Miss Indiana Preteen. And today I'm going to be going live with May Farmer. May is actually one of my friends who is very passionate about mental health and advocating for her cause. And so I'm super excited to go live with you today.
Thanks for having me.
She is also a competitor in pageantry. She was the 2018 USA National Miss Indiana Teen, and she's also a competitor on the USA stage. So let's get to know a little bit more about her. So May, can you just tell me like a little bit about yourself and kind of like what you do?
Yeah, so as Bonnie said, I have competed in pageants for the past like 3 years, I think. And I've had the opportunity to be USA National Miss Indiana Teen last year. This feels like forever ago. And through that, I have been able to get really involved in mental health advocacy. For me, this is something that I'm very passionate about. I think that it's very important that we open the conversation and that specifically our teens and youth are involved in it. Too often we have kind of topics that are being discussed by those adults, but really we are the next generation, so we need to be as active as we want to be. So that's something I've been able to do and work with some awesome organizations, and I'm just kind of continuing that momentum without a title now, but it's still just as important work.
Mm-hmm. So what is the like mental health, what does it mean to you, and kind of like you can talk about your experience if you want, and like why is this so important to you as a person?
Yeah, so I, as a child, struggled with anger, anxiety, and depression. And there were points in my life where I really didn't know, like, why do we live? Like, what is our purpose, you know? And it was definitely a struggle that not a lot of people knew I was going through. Um, so it was a really hard point. But for me, I have a really great support system. My family is the absolute best, and they've really been with me every step of the way. And I was very lucky, but I know not everyone is as fortunate. So I definitely feel like now looking back, those feelings were very real, and it's very important that people don't feel alone
Mm-hmm.
when they're going through some hard times.
Yeah, I know, like, especially, I mean, kind of going through like middle school, maybe. How has been, like, how did you have that positive, I guess, like, mental health going into middle school? Because I know, like, that's kind of when you feel like you have to fit in, or you kind of feel
Yeah,
like you belong during that time. So,
it definitely is. So I actually, little timeline, I guess. It was kind of in that fifth, sixth, seventh age range where I was not sure what I was doing. And I think it stems from, as kids, we are given this kind of expectation that we should start to figure out our lives, when the fact is, no one knows what they're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. My parents still don't know what they're doing. It's not a specific time where you're supposed to have everything planned out. But as individuals, we take that on and we try to do that. So during that time, of something that like I found really helpful is just really relying on my parents and my siblings to lift me up, and to encourage me in what I'm succeeding in, and then help me become better in what I wasn't. So I think it's just having that outlook that even if things aren't where you want them to be today, they can be where you want them to be tomorrow.
yeah, I think like even I guess just getting to, I guess even during this time it's like more of like reflection and getting to know yourself, because that's, I mean, kind of right now is kind of like the age where we discover ourselves and discover what we want to do, and so I think like having those friends and family to support us and just like being yourself, knowing that you are enough, has helped me to get through like go intimidation or anything that comes my way.
Absolutely. And I think it's important, like who I was freshman year of high school versus senior year now is vastly different. And I think that's something that as people, as humans, we need to acknowledge that from other people too. That people are constantly changing, constantly growing. So maybe what you first thought of them is just a distant past now. So just always meeting people where they are instead of meeting people where they were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, you know, like going forward, we're always like changing, we're always different. And so I think, yeah, that's such a very, very important message. So we got some, if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to comment them or put them in the question box as the live keeps going on. Okay, so we got some questions. Um, Oh, so you mentioned that you were working with different organizations in like advocating for what you do. And so, what changes have you noticed when you're sharing your message to other youth?
I think the difference I've seen, maybe not even in the youth, because I do feel like more and more teenagers are speaking up, and there are a lot of different clubs, even at our local high schools, that are really advocating for change. But something that I feel like is very surprising is the way that adults have responded. You know, adults are kind of shocked when I come up to them and I'm like, I'm 17 years old and this is what I'm passionate about. So I think once those the adults I've been able to interact with get over the initial shock, of course, they are really encouraging and they see that need for youth representation. So that's been kind of what I found surprising. I've also found surprising that, as I said, you know, youth is people are talking about it more. So at first I was definitely a little hesitant to share my story because, you know, it is kind of a taboo topic, I guess. So it's a little scary sometimes. But I have not had any negative reactions. So that makes me really happy.
Yeah, I love that you're like going out in the community and sharing your message because I think a lot of people may have like experienced that at some point, but they were too scared in some ways to just like go out there, share their story, and inspire others. And so I definitely think that it's awesome that what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, so how can others get involved in advocating for this cause and like what can others do to bring awareness? I know like my school has done like stigma-free clubs and I guess just having that time with your friends and family. So what can others just get involved in?
So there's definitely different levels in which you can be involved. Like you said, there are a lot of clubs. So depending on where your school, I know school's kind of out of session right now, but most schools now that I am aware of in the general area have clubs that you can get involved in. Reach out to them. On the more personal side of things, you know, when someone is struggling, being there for them. Of course, being there for them, not sacrificing how you're feeling, but being there and letting them know that you're there if they need you. So that's one way on the more personal side. For me, I have taken it to a little bit bigger audience. I have been getting more involved in the state level of things. So there are a bunch of organizations that I've been able to work with, whether that be, you know, more fundraising events. For example, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, they host annual walks. So I've been able to fundraise for them, or just posting more on social media and sharing how you're feeling and what's going on and bringing people in so that they can be aware about the issues that are going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, like, I think there's a lot of organizations, as you kind of like mentioned before, that are like they really go out for that cause, and they really I think they also like do they accept volunteers and everything?
Mm-hmm. So you can volunteer day of events, and you can volunteer on planning committees for events. You can volunteer for just spreading the word about the organization. There are so many ways to get involved in so many organizations that honestly I could list ones that I've worked with, but there are millions of other ones I haven't even seen yet, which is amazing. I love that. But I definitely like Google search it and you can find things that are in your area that are going to be great opportunities, especially now while we have all this free time. You can really put in the time and effort, and find places that will help you achieve and feel like you are helping a cause, whether that be mental health or something else you're passionate about.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you kind of like touched base on a little bit of school. Like, how is that like online school experience? How did that impact you? Like, how is that for you?
Yeah, so obviously everyone kind of went online these last
Yeah.
couple months, and it was definitely not for everyone. I heard some whispers from friends and stuff that they were not enjoying it. Some people liked it though. Uh, it is a little bit weird. Obviously, I went to school up until kind of sophomore year. So I got that social interaction, and I had already built friendships that I was able to keep with me while I was doing online school. So I think that was very important for me, is when you are doing completely e-learning, it can be very lonely. You can isolate yourself a lot.
Yeah.
So something that I've done is I got a part-time job. So I work some, and then definitely when there were homecoming dances, getting my friends to get me a ticket so I could still go to those, going to football games still, even if they weren't my team technically. So it was definitely an adjustment. Online learning is not for everyone, and I am excited to be going to campus for college. But it was something that if you are feeling like school is maybe one of those things where you're spending a lot of time there, but it's not the best use of your time, maybe for you personally, then you can look into it. I just found that I would go to school, like 7 hours a day, and then I would have 3 hours of homework and 3 hours of extracurriculars. And at the end of the day, it was just a lot when I could just do it in less time for me.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think, I mean, like online school definitely gives you like a lot more time outside of just working on the computer. But I think, I guess, as you said, like maintaining those friendships, like I know I love connecting with them, like whether it was like texting them or just FaceTiming my friends or something. I think that like helped in not like socially isolating myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So, let's see. What is the best way to occupy our mind during this quarantine time?
So for me, I've been getting involved in arts and crafts. I am not a super creative person naturally. I am not that much artistic in any form, but it's something I've really enjoyed being able to do. I learned to sew, so that was kind of a fun thing I got to get involved with. Otherwise, I would probably have never thought about doing it before. I've also been putting together some college gifts for my friends, like I've mentioned. I have been doing a lot of online shopping, which maybe isn't the best idea, but kind of getting prepared for stuff I want to get for college and for whatever next pageant I compete in. I also have been working on developing my own platform, which is kind of in the works. It hasn't been fully developed, but it's kind of going off my name with amazing. And it's going to be a website that's kind of going to connect all the things I've been able to do, as well as new resources and other organizations that I have not had the privilege to work with, but that others might want to. So stay tuned for that. I've been doing a lot of photos, taking a lot of photos, having fun shoots, and I've been snacking a lot. But I think it's just been kind of finding creative outlets and trying new things that I otherwise wouldn't have had the time to do.
Yeah, I think like for me, I'm not like a painting person. Like really, I don't I do sometimes, but I think like I've painted a lot during this time. And like, I did sew masks too.
Oh
I learned how
yeah.
to sew. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. I would have never thought I would be able to do that, but that was quite interesting. Something else that I did, I like to like find ways to just be creative. I think especially during this time we have a lot of time, and we have so many possibilities that we could do instead of just like watching Netflix and just I guess like going on TV or something. But I think it's just been like a reflection, and it's just been like a great time to relax. I think like every morning I do meditation, just calming techniques, so that like just have that positive mind into the day.
And I
So
don't know if you're religious, but for those people that are, I found that it's a very good time to get into the Bible and kind of reinvest in myself in that way as well. As well as I know a lot of people have been cleaning their closet. I'm bad at getting rid of stuff. I love my clothes, so I haven't quite got there, but it would be a good time to go through some stuff and donate what I no longer need.
yeah, those are really great things that if you guys want something to do, I guess those are ideas. Okay, so let's talk about kind of like your pageant journey. Like, how did you get started within? I know, like, I got started thinking it was a fashion show, as I like said to you like earlier. It was crazy.
So I obviously haven't been competing in pageants very long, but it was kind of for me a dive right in and just see what happens experience. And if you look back, my first pageant I competed in was Miss Indiana Teen USA. So I really went to the extreme, very big pageant to begin with. And if you look back, there are a lot of things I would change now. I did not know what I was doing at all, but it was so fun that obviously I've stuck with it. So I competed there and I really enjoyed it. I met a lot of people. I was kind of going in there like, I might not like this. Like, pageants kind of have a bad stereotype sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
let me see how I feel about it. And I competed and I met some really awesome girls while I was there. So then I was like, okay, I like this. Let me see what else I can do. So I went on and I started working with some coaches and kind of perfecting that side of myself. Also, that's what stemmed a lot of my involvement. This was something I was passionate about, mental health, but I hadn't had the right motivation yet to really be able to push myself to get involved. And so I did a lot of volunteerism and stuff like that. I also started working out, which I don't work out that much anyways, but it was something I started doing there. And so I competed 2 years at Indiana Teen USA, and I did I did one local America pageant, found out that system was very different, didn't know what I was doing there. And I competed in a high school America state pageant
Oh,
once.
it's not a state pageant.
Yeah, so it was at the time Indiana didn't have a state pageant. I know I think they're having one now. I don't
I
know
think so. Yeah, like next
really.
or something.
Yeah, I think they're wanting to do one. I don't know how far it's progressed yet, but at the time, because Indiana just had appointed titles, I could compete in the Ohio one. So I went over there and did that one. And it was a good system. Obviously didn't walk away with a crown or anything like that, but it's not about that, of course. And then I came to UNM. I discovered UNM, and I competed, and I won. And it was honestly like life changing. I had never had such an amazing platform to use my voice and speak up and get out there in my community. So I was able to do that, and then I competed at nationals and I got top 15 across the nation. So it was exciting. That was my goal, and it was honestly a once in a lifetime opportunity. and I really enjoyed nationals. There's nothing quite like it. So I would highly recommend checking out UNIM if you want to try pageants. Um, they're awesome. And then I competed at Indiana Teen USA again and didn't win. But I met a lot of awesome girls that I know are competing again next year. So that's exciting. So now I have one more year in teen, technically, because I'm a baby senior. So we're thinking we're gonna compete down in Alabama, and then we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's quite a journey.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, like I got started thinking it was some sort of a fashion show, and so at the time I was super shy, but I was still like interested in like the glamorous part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But once I actually went to the pageant that I competed in, it was way different than I thought it would be. But I met like so many friends that I still keep in contact today. Like, I mean, I'm not doing like I wasn't doing pageants for that long. I that was like my first year and everything, so it was really crazy, but and very like hectic because like you go from place to place like so many times. So it was crazy, but I like really loved it, and so I've been doing pageants since 2016, and I've definitely developed a lot of confidence and different public speaking skills that I actually made my own platform called Ease, and that stands for Educate, Achieve, Smile, and Empower. And so I love sharing the message and being able to, use my voice, because without being able to learn those skills, I don't think I would be able to speak confidently like I do today.
Definitely. And people often say like being in pageants, the friendships, which is a big part of it. But these skills that I've actually acquired, like interview skills and my just overall presentation of myself, is more than I think I could have ever achieved otherwise.
Yeah, I think like people like generally if you tell someone that, oh, I do pageants, they think that it's like some sort of like toddlers and tiaras, you like cake on makeup and everything. But I think the main message of like pageantry is just to be your true authentic self, and to like learn along the way, because you learn so many new skills, you grow those friendships, and I think that's what makes pageantry so special.
Yeah, and I think the reason, that stigma kind of exists is because we do see those TV shows, but the fact is, pageants aren't a competition against the other girls. It's a competition against yourself. And that's kind of how I like to view it, is if I go on that stage and I do the best that I was going to do anyways, and I know that I presented everything and left it all out there, then I'm happy with whatever the result is.
Yeah, definitely. So we got a question that says advice for pageant girls.
Oh, so many. um, well, like Bonnie kind of said, be yourself. Don't try to be someone else, because it's not gonna work. Judges see right through that. Other contestants see right through that. It's just not good. Um, in the more like logistics, when you're at a pageant, be on your best behavior, no matter who's around. If you think it's just you and your mom, it's not just you and your mom. So I get it. Tensions get high in pageants. There might be a little bit of an argument, and people understand that. But also, you are auditioning. You're trying for a job, so you want to make sure that you are really putting your best foot forward, no matter the circumstances. Also, I would say don't be afraid to ask for help from girls that have competed in the system before, because 9 out of 10 times they're going to give you like information overload with all the details of everything that they wish they would have known. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely utilize your resources.
Yeah, I remember like at one of my state pageants, like I was sitting next to this one girl and she had competed before, and I was like clueless. And so like I asked like, what is it going to be scary? What is like interview, everything? Like I was like, is this okay? But I think she was just like, have fun, just be yourself, you'll do great just the way you are. And I think that's definitely given me a good like outlook and a lesson to just be myself, because even like growing up, you, as we like discussed before, like especially you feel like you have to fit in going into middle school. But I think I learned earlier on by competing in pageants to just not care about anyone else, just to just be myself.
Yeah, and I mean, do I think I'm the most well-liked person out there ever? No. Do I think that I am a nice person? Yes. Do I think that I am always going to try my best and everything? Yes. So as long as I'm happy with who I am, then the haters can leave. It's not, they're just there.
Mhm. So basically going on that, how has like being like growing up and learning about creating that positive mindset helped you to succeed in pageants?
So I definitely have to attribute my mindset to my mother and my grandmother. They were both very confident and independent women, or they are. And so they've really been able to instill that in me. And obviously, not everyone has that. So it is important that our role models, our celebrities, are doing the same for our young girls. So being able to be in an environment and in a mindset where, as long as I present the best me that I know that I can be, then it doesn't really matter,
Yeah.
has tremendously helped me succeed in pageants and succeed in life, honestly. When I have applied for my job, like just knowing that if I didn't get the job, it would be okay. Or when I was applying to schools, I didn't get into all my schools and I didn't go to the school I thought I wanted to go to. But now taking that opportunity, and the University of Alabama did want me, and I know that what I brought to the table was enough. So I'm gonna go and enjoy it and have the best time of my life because of it.
Yeah.
it's it's an overarching kind of lesson that can't really be taught based on words, based on who you surround yourself and who lifts you up and what you want out of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that focusing on the positives instead of the negatives is definitely like a big part of just getting through the intimidation and everything throughout the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we can like end off with the last question as, what is your message for the youth?
Oh, get involved. Be involved. Be proactive. I don't care if you are passionate about mental health, you are passionate about animals, you're passionate about adoption, whatever you care about, get involved. That is an organization if you don't want to. That doesn't mean you have to volunteer a certain number of hours. But whatever you are feeling drawn to advocate for, do it. It's life changing. It's so important that we have people that are not afraid to speak up and not afraid to put themselves out there. And, there are so many worthy causes out there. So whatever your heart is drawn towards, do it. Like, just jump in, and I promise you won't regret it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I completely agree. Like, just I guess find what you're passionate about and then go out in the community and do what you love.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, May, for joining us and your time. And thank you to everyone who joined the live. I hope you stay safe and enjoy your weekend.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
I'll
Bye.
see ya.